Hello, I'm Steve Timm from Collins Aerospace. I've been looking forward to speaking with you today, specifically on some of the ways that we're working to make flying safer, healthier, and more efficient. In the past, I've served on the RTCA board, actually for several years, and so I understand firsthand RTCA's impact and influence when it comes to providing standards while we modernize the aviation industry. And that mission has never been more important than it is now, of course, and so I appreciate your time. We all know too well the impact COVID has had on the world's health, the global economy, and of course commercial aviation in particular. But there's hope on the horizon and growing reason to be optimistic. The vaccines we've all been waiting for are coming, more are in different states of approval, and distribution is certainly underway. And that's exciting because it allows us to envision a time when we can all travel freely, whether for work, to see family, RTCA in person, or even take a vacation. But here's the reality. Before the COVID pandemic, passenger traffic was an all-time high. The commercial aviation supported more than 65 million jobs worldwide and generated nearly $3 trillion in annual economic activity. But now passenger traffic is down 66%. And on top of that, more than half the world's borders have some kind of travel restrictions in place. And analysts forecast it's going to take 3 to 5 years for passenger traffic to return back to 2019 levels, driven by international traffic, of course. So I believe it doesn't have to take that long. If the public and private sectors work together, if government and industry take bold enough and broad enough measures, we can accelerate economic recovery for the industry and restart the global economy. And some of that is already happening, but we can do more to not only help the recovery take hold, but to protect us from any of these new health threats that may develop in the future. One of the things we're focused on at Collins Aerospace is what I call the contactless journey. This is something we've been very excited about for some time. It's innovation that our industry has spent years developing and perfecting. And while we're partnering with airlines, airports, regulatory authorities, biotech companies even, to bring these exciting and emerging solutions to life at airports around the world, more needs to be done. These are solutions that can mitigate current challenges, but also prepare us for those challenges that might lie ahead. We're working on revolutionizing the entire passenger experience, something that starts before a passenger even arrives at the airport, and then flows through check-in, boarding, the flight itself, landing, and then picking up your bags, and eventually exiting the airport. So let me walk you through what the contactless passenger experience might look and feel like. First, the health of a passenger has been confirmed before they even walk in the airport. I'll talk more about that and what that looks like in just a moment. But for now, let's assume that this is true both for domestic and international flights. First, utilizing self-drop bag tagging solutions, tracked using technology we already have today, so your bags can be dropped off in convenient locations outside the airport. Once a passenger arrives at the airport, they're guided by wayfinding solutions designed to reduce congestion at the airport and allowing for social distancing. And then integrated biometric tools eliminate physical touch points during check-in, ticketing, security screenings, and boarding, with non-touch temperature screenings in place as a final check. And similarly, wayfinding systems await arriving passengers to help maintain physical distance in baggage claim and in transportation lines just outside the airport. Nearly everything I've described here is possible, in some place already happening. We have the technology right now. And here's what's interesting, though. These solutions weren't even originally developed to combat COVID. They were designed to create more efficient travel experiences when traffic was at its peak. And now we're focused on accelerating complementary technologies that will add yet another layer of protection for passengers and frontline employees, whether at the airport or in the aircraft. So in the future, you can expect to see things like touchless lavatories with automatic water faucets, toilet lids, soap dispensers. We're partnering with universities and other companies to deploy innovation that are able to quickly sanitize the air and surfaces within the cabin. And these solutions are in addition to the already installed surgically graded HEPA air filtration systems that are now on airplanes. We're working to extend these systems beyond large commercial fleets to include business and regional aircraft as well. Seats will have embedded materials that can suppress the spread of viruses and bacteria. We'll also have the ability to use UV lighting to spot unsanitary areas and disinfect them. Sensing technologies are emerging that will be able to detect pathogens in the air at airports or on airplanes. And if you add on machine learning to reduce gate turnaround times, all of this will not only reassure those who are flying, but enable a more efficient, secure, and passenger-friendly experience. Turning all this into everyday reality will reassure passengers around the world, which will ultimately help restart travel and the global economy. But there remains a missing piece, something I alluded to before. It's the need for what I'm calling immunity passport. It's the very first step in the contactless passenger journey. Basically, it's an individual's travel credentials that contain their current vaccination or COVID-19 test status. Not their health records, but the credential that validates their immunity or testing results. It would be encrypted for privacy and tied designated to that time period and their itinerary. No single airline, airport, or even country can make these changes alone. It's going to require a strong partnership with governments around the world to move us closer to global standardization across the entire travel ecosystem. A touchless journey is going to require a cloud environment with ironclad security. And of course, collaboration among its stakeholders is going to be needed so that the passenger improvements are fully integrated across the entire journey. But as reported in the Wall Street Journal earlier this month, I found it interesting. There are already several competing standards for technology. So we know that there's going to be strong international collaboration for standardization required. We know what we need to do. There's a precedent for how we do this. Just think about the changes after 9/11 with TSA. We knew we acted quickly to make modifications to airports and airplanes internationally. And now we have to act quickly. So we don't find ourselves in a situation where passengers are vaccinated, they're ready to fly, but still face travel restrictions at every turn. This is how we'll get people, the economy, flying again. This is how we're going to move forward. So I thank you for your time today. Thank you in advance for what you're doing for our industry, for our recovery. And next time, I hope to see you in person so we can connect in person and get a chance to catch up on the progress that we're making. Thanks again.